Welcome to the Pre-Snap Podcast presented by LineStar, your top 5 NFL player prop bets for Week 18. Alongside my co-host, Tyler Wiemann, I'm Shannon Sommerville. We've got some great picks for you this week to finish out the season strong. Over the last couple weeks, we were 2 weeks ago 4-1 on our picks, doing well. Last week, I believe we were 2-3. So overall, doing well. We're in the winning. So let's finish out the season strong here. Tyler, what do you think? Week 18 is a tough one, though.
A little bounce back week and a tough week.
Yeah, week 18, a lot of variables at play. We've got some teams that have zero motivation, some teams that are playing for all the marbles, some teams that are resting guys. There's just a lot going on. Player incentives as well. So a lot of things to consider as we approach week 18. We talked a bit about it on our Underdog Pick'em show, but why don't you tell me your strategy going into week 18?
I roll back volume big time these weeks, really only focus on games that matter.
Yeah.
And act like the rest don't exist.
Exactly. All right, which is what we're going to do. We're also using the LineStar PropsAI tool to help us as we do week in and week out on this show. We'll be referencing it throughout this video. You can check that out for yourself if you'd like at LineStarApp.com. Also, our picks are available in places like Underdog, Sleeper, Chalkboard, and Parlay Play. And if you don't have those apps, download them, but make sure to use the promo code LineStar so you can get a nice deposit match plus 1 free month of the LineStar app. And last order of business, do us a huge favor, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below because it does enter you into our prop bets contest. So if we go 5-0 on our picks, one randomly selected commenter will win $100. It's that easy. Just like, subscribe, comment below. You're in it to win it. Let's get in it to win it this week in week 18. Let's start things off here. We're going to start things off with the beast Derrick Henry over 88.5 rushing yards. LineStar's projection is all the way clear over 100. Consensus is around 90. In fact, Derrick Henry's averaging 111. So why is this line just at 88.5 right now? Well, there is some question about what his workload will look like. Either way, he's in a good situation because this is a number he's cleared 3 of the last 5 games and going up against a Cleveland defense that's middle of the pack, 14th in rush defense DVOA. Plus, we're looking at a pretty motivated Ravens team this week, a win plus a Bengals loss, and they've got the AFC North Division clinch. So there's definitely some incentive here as well to keep Derrick Henry in there and get this win for the Ravens. Tyler, what's your take on Derrick Henry?
Yeah, and I think that's enough incentive that they're going to run Derrick Henry as much as they can. I mean, keeping the Bengals out of the playoffs is pretty big. Also, winning the division is very big. So I think Derrick Henry is probably going to see as many snaps as he normally does, unless it becomes a blowout, right, which, I doubt. So.
Yeah, right. I mean, we're talking about a division game, especially in the AFC North where things can get crazy. So I like the spot here. I'm feeling pretty good about Derrick Henry this week in week 18. All right. Mm-hmm. Next up, let's go to Amon-Ra St. Brown over 75.5 receiving yards. LineStar and the consensus projection. Remember that consensus is just basically an average of all other industry leaders in their respective projections. So both of those are on our side with the over here. St. Brown's averaging 74 receiving yards per game. Going up against Minnesota, they are 13th in pass defense DVOA versus opposing teams wide receiver 1. But keep in mind, this is a guy who had 112 against them earlier this season. Listen, this is also a Minnesota defense that's pretty pass funnel-ish, if that's kind of a word. What's your assessment of Amon-Ra St. Brown and his prospects for week 18?
Well, one of the things with that we've seen with this Detroit offense the entire year is they are fully willing to just run the ball down somebody's throat. Now, there's a couple factors in this game that we're seeing now. One, Vikings run D, super good. It's going to be hard to run the ball against them. And in those situations, they're fine letting Goff, throw the ball here. And also when the game is close, they're fine letting Goff throw the ball a little bit more. Another factor, Amon-Ra, and I know you mentioned 112 earlier this season. Last year, he had 144 yards versus them and 106 yards against them. In competitive games, they throw the ball a lot more. This game is going to be competitive. They're going to be targeting Amon-Ra a ton. And without David Montgomery, they have relied on the pass game a little bit more. So I think all of that is going in Amon-Ra's favor, and I think he's ready for a big one.
Yeah, like you mentioned, Vikings run defense has been stellar this season, so they may not be able to use Gibbs and really get that run game going as much as they have been. So why not open things up with the passing game and one of their best players in Amon-Ra, St. Brown there. And Vegas is expecting fireworks in this one. The game total is 55.5, which is also why we're going to do a little stacking situation here and also go with the quarterback, Jared Goff, over on his passing yards at 270.5. LineStar and the consensus are with us here to the over. And in fact, Goff is averaging 275 per game. He had 280 last game versus Minnesota. Again, we're talking about a pass funnel defense and the highest game total of the slate at 55.5. Lions are just 3-point favorites in this one. So in my opinion, I like us stacking here those two players and, going with the Lions here, I guess. What do you think?
Well, yeah, I mean, look, if Amon-Ra doesn't get over 75, Goff probably isn't going over 270. That's just kind of how it breaks down what is likely to happen. Other thing here is, like I mentioned with Amon-Ra, without David Montgomery, the team is willing to throw the ball a little bit more. I mean, they want to get Gibbs open in space, have less actual carries, which, are a little harder on his body. More receptions to get him extra touches, and all of that helps Jared Goff's number. He's in a good spot. They're going to have to throw the ball. Let's go over.
Yeah, and this is a situation I kind of forgot to talk about the overall impact. But of all the games this weekend, I feel like the most marbles are up for grabs in this Lions versus Vikings game, with the winner essentially basically having home field advantage. And that's pretty important as you look to the playoffs, and the loser, I believe, just a wild card spot. So it's just like a pretty crazy scenario.
Winning team in the wild card.
It's just wild to me. But either way, that's pretty high stakes, if you ask me, for a Week 18 game. So I don't mind throwing a couple picks in there. If you check out our Underdog Pick'em show as well, we'll have a pick or two from that game for you on the other side as well. So make sure to check out that show for you there. But next up, Tyler and I give our picks for Week 18. So, Tyler, who are you rolling with for Week 18 on your pick'em?
I'm going to go with DK Metcalf over 55.5 receiving yards. Our LineStar projection 70.2. Consensus is 67.23. Thing here is he needs 61 yards to break 1,000 yards on the season. There's also big time stuff in it for Geno Smith. He needs 186 yards for a $2 million bonus. He also gets a $2 million bonus with a win and a good completion percentage. I can't talk today. Sorry. Rams 28th versus wide receiver 1. In for DK Metcalf's career, he's averaging 66.7 receiving yards per game versus them. So I like DK over 55.5. This is one of the games that doesn't matter, but it still matters a lot to DK. So I'm still willing to go there. It also matters for Geno. They've said Geno's starting already. So I think those guys are going to be playing the whole game.
I mean, nothing motivates more than just some cold, hard cash. So don't mind those odds there. All right, for my pick, I'm going to go to the Pittsburgh Steelers in another game where they're definitely trying to win this game. And we're going to go with their wide receiver, George Pickens, over 65.5 receiving yards. LineStar's projection here is just under 80. And the consensus to the over as well. He's averaging 69 receiving yards per game, going up against a Cincinnati Bengals defense that has struggled all season long at containing opponents' passing yards, but 26 in pass defense DVOA is where they rank specifically this season, which is a huge drop-off from years past. And expect George Pickens to take advantage of that stat. Also, the Steelers, as I mentioned, they're very motivated. They need a win to secure the 3 seed, and Tomlin has said he doesn't really see any scenarios where he's going to be resting players. And another factor here, he's just 100 yards shy of 1,000 on the year. And that's a pretty big milestone. If I'm a player, I want to get to those quadruple digits. What do you think?
Absolutely. And I mean, he's a guy that it means something too. Like, he with all his ego and everything, like if he doesn't hit 1,000 yards, that'll be a big bruise.
I know. So he's going to be demanding for the ball. I mean, if there's anything about George Pickens, he is not quiet about wanting to get the ball, which is what you like to see from a competitor going into a division matchup this week. So don't mind the spot for him this week. Just to recap our picks here, we're going to go Derrick Henry on his rushing yards, Amon-Ra on receiving yards, as well as Jared Goff over on passing yards, and DK Metcalf, really like that pick, over on receiving yards, and George Pickens over on his receiving yards as well. So those are our top 5. Remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below for your chance to win $100 if we go 5-0. Someone's getting that money. We'll announce that next week, so make sure to stay tuned to the LineStar YouTube channel. And as always, if you've got any locks, share them with everybody. We're all here to help each other out and beat the books on this Week 18. There's some great games on the slate. Excited for it. Let us know what you're thinking in the comments. But best of luck out there. Let's go win some money to finish off the season strong. Good luck, everyone. See you next time.